Hey, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor Live on SIFTD.net. Appreciate all of our Patreon patrons and our YouTube subscribers. You are keeping Shane at least able to keep the show going. So thank you for your generous contributions and subscriptions. If you are doing that or not, all of you, please try to remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. That's free for you. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, it's a freebie. It's included in your $139 annual fee. They pay Shane $2.50 a month. So literally it's about a quarter of the value of your subscription for free. So take advantage of that, please. And you have to redo that every month. So if you haven't done it in 30 days, check the instructions in the show description below. It tells you how to do it. 3 clicks and you're connected. That really helps us out. So again, appreciate it if you can do that. Stick it to Amazon. You've already paid for it, so don't let them keep the money. Make them give it to Shane. Thank you very much. Not a lot going on in games, but a lot going on with Xbox. So we saw a report out of Bloomberg from my good friend Jason Schreier that Microsoft and the Microsoft corporate came to Xbox a couple of years ago and asked Xbox to try to drive up their profit to what's called a profit margin of 30%. And that just means every dollar they take in, they make 30 cents, 30% of a dollar, so 30 cents in profit. And that's much higher than the rest of the industry. I think Take-Two is in the 20s, EA's in the 20s. Activision used to be in the 30s when they were really profitable. So 30% means getting up to kind of Activision level. Now, in fairness, Microsoft's Activision business, had they not changed it, would have been 30%, but they did change it. So we'll talk about that in a second. And since that 2 years ago when Microsoft corporate told Xbox, let's get to 30%, according to Jason Schreier, Microsoft's canceled a bunch of games, laid off people, jacked up prices, doing lots of things that would generally drive higher profit. Now, obviously, if you don't affect your revenue and you cut your costs, then when you generate that dollar and you're spending 10 pennies less on people, you'll get that profit margin up by 10 cents. So that's what Microsoft's trying to do. The problem I think that they face is that with Activision, and especially the integration of Activision's games into Game Pass, they're hurting themselves on game sales, and it's an open question whether they're making that up with Game Pass subscriptions. And then Game Pass isn't really at critical mass with probably 25 million paying subscribers, possibly going down now they jacked up the price of Game Pass. So, are they going to get to that 30%? I doubt it. The question is, is this a smart long-term move, or will it ultimately help or hurt the brand? I don't think saving their way to prosperity is the smart long-term move. Now, to be fair, I actually spoke to Microsoft yesterday, and I'm not going to tell you what we discussed, but they're very, very interested and focused on long-term building the brand, not hurting the brand. So let me give them props. They care. And I had a talk with 5 or 6 of their management, of their leaders at Xbox. So I don't want to name any people, but I had a really productive conversation with them.
This episode of Pachter Factor is brought to you by DeShazer Ryan Realty. It's time to find out why everyone is buying homes in Montana. Right now, Doug DeShazer has a beautiful single-level home with a triple-car garage available in the best neighborhood in Libby, Montana. This custom 3-bed, 2.5-bath home has a 500-square-foot patio for entertaining. It's built to last with solid wood core doors, Anderson windows, an asphalt driveway, central AC and heat, and a private well to run its sprinkler system. The price was recently reduced, and owner financing is available with 20% down. No matter where you're looking to buy in the U.S., Doug DeShazer is licensed to help. Make him your real estate consultant at 406-291-1643. That's Doug DeShazer at 406-291-1643, or go to LibbyMontanaRealEstate.com.
I am very, very confident that Microsoft corporate did tell Xbox, get your margins up. And I am absolutely confident that the things that you've seen Xbox do the last couple of years are intended to get margins up. The biggest driver of margin is getting a lot of Xbox subscribers. And if you look at Netflix, and let me compare and contrast, Microsoft nominally has 25 or 30 million subscribers for Game Pass. Netflix has more than 300 million. They don't report anymore. More than 300 million subscribers at a generally lower price. Netflix's margins are in the 30s. Go figure, 31, I think. So Netflix at 300 million got to 30%. Microsoft Game Pass at 300 million, which is pie in the sky, could get to 30%. I think that Schreier's right that the steps they took were to save money, but I think their long-term goal is to make Game Pass a real thing. So ultimately, I think that the Xbox brand may get hurt because raising the price, putting out the Rogue Ally at a high price, and I'll talk about that next, is tough, and canceling games and offering fewer options is bad for the Xbox brand, but they are doing everything they can to beef up Game Pass, and I actually think that will ultimately succeed. So just how corporations work. Corporate Microsoft has shareholders. Microsoft shareholders want to see big profits. They don't want Xbox to be a drag on the overall Microsoft results. 30% is a reasonable target. Microsoft overall does better than that. So it's a reasonable target for the Xbox brand. They will get there, but the only way they're really going to get there is to beef up Game Pass. And again, that's what I'm talking to their management about. They're very receptive to hearing third-party ideas. They were refreshingly open to hearing, things that I think that they're doing right and wrong. I am a big fan of them. They're capable of learning, and I really like managers who want to hear third-party perspectives. So good team there. So give this time. I think they're going to fix it. Schreier read another article about how it's working. We'll see. But I'm pretty optimistic that they're going to take some steps that I'm not going to talk about right now that will enhance the value of the brand. To answer the question specifically, I think that it's never a smart long-term move to save your way to prosperity. I don't think you can. So think of Xbox the way you would think of a buffet, and the buffet starts looking at what is very popular. Let's say, the beef ribs and the fried chicken, and they look at what's not popular, the spinach and the corn. And so they eliminate all vegetables and they have only meat at the buffet. You won't go because you're not getting what you want. And so I think it's really dumb to save your way to prosperity. You end up making decisions and cutting out people who matter. And I give you an example of a great buffet that is successful is Netflix. Netflix has anime. I have never watched an anime film. Documentary, I think I probably watched 3 out of the 10,000 things I've watched on Netflix. LGBTQ programming, I don't know if I've watched it or not, but I certainly didn't look for LGBTQ. Children's animation, I know I've never watched one of those on Netflix. Why do they have all that stuff? It doesn't appeal to me, but it appeals to people who like anime, people who care about LGBTQ programming, people who care about documentaries, people who have kids. So it makes sense. And with a successful smorgasbord ends up with something for everybody. That's why McDonald's has a fish sandwich and a chicken sandwich and a salad and coffee. Most people who go to McDonald's don't think coffee, but if you eat breakfast there, you like coffee. Most people don't think salad, but you know what? There's always that person in the family. So saving your way to prosperity ends up being a place that sells only burgers, and nobody will go there. They want fries and a shake. You've got to offer everything. So I think long term, it hurts Microsoft to shrink to save its way to prosperity. Long term, I think it hurts the brand because you think of them as being less than complete. So I think that the steps they took in saving in order to deliver higher profit are a short-term solution that has long-term consequences that are bad. As I said earlier, I spoke to their management yesterday. They are really bright, really enlightened, care a lot about succeeding and doing what's right for their customer. So I think long-term, they're going to succeed. I just think that they took some near-term steps that appear destined to hurt the brand. I actually think long-term, they're going to figure it out and get it right. But yes, cutting people, cutting brands, canceling games, that hurts the brand long-term. Keeping prices high hurts the brand long term. The solution is to come up with something, follow the Netflix model, which is, an ad-supported cheap tier, offering a lot of stuff that appeal to everybody. And again, you might have an anime fan or a documentary fan in your household. You watch that stuff. You're never going to quit Netflix because they care. That's the main reason, by the way, I didn't cut the cord for cable, because my kids watched Nickelodeon when they were little. My wife watched Bravo, Real Housewives. I watched ESPN. I couldn't find a package that had everything. Now there probably is one, but I couldn't find one back when everybody was small. So we kept it all. And, that's what Microsoft should be doing. Offer everything to everybody, and you will get those Game Pass subscribers. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor Live. Appreciate all of your support from our Patreon patrons and our YouTube subscribers. You guys are keeping Shane afloat, so thank you. Anybody who's a subscriber or not, please remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. That's easy to do. It's free. Shane gets paid. You've already paid Amazon for it, so stick it to them. Make them give you value for your membership. You have to redo that every month, so check out the instructions on how to do that in the show description below. It's literally 3 clicks, and Shane gets paid. You get charged nothing. Amazon gets it stuck to them. So thank you again. Appreciate all of you, my fellow babies. We will see you next week on Pachter Factor Live. I want to have on my tombstone that I saved Xbox.